Hello from Delmarva and welcome back to Shorebilly Farmer. Alright, so got the parts we got to take back to the Case IH dealer. We had the wrong fingers from when we were working on the grain table on the combine. So I got to take those back and get some, I got to get some cutter bar teeth, some guards, and I want to go ahead and replace what teeth are worn or broke before we put that head away, because we're getting ready to put the corn head on, because in about, I don't know, 3-4 weeks, we'll probably start cutting corn. It's getting that time of year. It's fast approaching. So I want to do that, get the combine ready. That way we're not running around trying to get a lot of things done before corn harvest. I gotta tell you, it's a little odd picking up the camera. I haven't really done anything with it in over a month because the wife is trying hard to catch up on all the videos, and we took some vacation in there, so 2 weeks of that was us being on vacation, and really there wasn't anything going on the farm for the other 2 weeks. But things are going to start ramping up again. Just did a little more contracting of some corn and soybeans today. I was holding out hoping that the dry weather out west would really give us a little bump in the prices, but they keep getting just enough rain out there to have a crop. So it was time, you know, historically during harvest is usually the lowest time for the commodities because the supply is so high and usually demand is low. So I just went ahead and contracted now, and still got a really good price, but yeah, you always like to see a little bit better. But I'm also glad that those guys out there are getting a little bit of rain and they will have a crop, because some of those places were looking really bad. As you can see, Hoover's has quite a bit of stuff out here. It's all for the right price. And I don't have the amount of money that they need for the right price for some of this stuff. See, that's actually what I would like to have found when I was looking for a set of discs, was at 330, 25 foot, just like that. Because that one's in pretty good shape, but they didn't have any when I was looking. Actually, a little low on inventory out here. Normally they have quite a bit more than this. It's a sign of the times, everybody's low on everything. But anyway, Hoover's is up here in Seaford, Delaware. That's the closest Hoover's we have for parts and whatnot. Nice tractor. That's just like the one I borrowed, except she's got a little bit bigger tires on her. It's about a 50-minute ride to get up here. But they are the closest, and usually everything I need when I come up here they've got in stock, so they're pretty good to deal with. Then their parts team are pretty good too. They know their equipment. They're not just looking it up in a book. They pretty much know what you need when you tell them what piece of equipment and where it's at. Brand new Case 220, snazzy. If you know anybody from Hoover's is watching and you'd like me to demo that, I can handle that for you. We'll put the landau behind her and show people what it can do. Nice 20-foot head, just like what we got. That's a bit newer though. I can tell it's also got the dual PTOs on it. We're gonna get out and take a look at that, because our head is like the oldest 1020 head. Is like the first year they came out. Now it has had some updates, but it's always nice to keep looking and updating. So I'm just curious what kind of updates this has. Obviously they've got something going on with the belt here, but it does have the new style head, or the new style reel, which I like. And overall it's in good shape. Could use a little paint. The auger looks a lot better. Ours is all dented up. It was that way when we got it. And it's got the add-on grabbers. You can see here, these poly grabbers. They help get the crop flowing, you know, when it tries wrapping up. It's got the light kit on it, which I like, because we do a lot of running up and down the road with the head on, because we're on a lot of back roads. She needs a lot of new teeth, which that's no big deal. Not half bad looking, really. I'd like to see what the underside looks like, what the skid plates and all look like. Now the rollers are all wore out, which is same on ours. Obviously the cylinders are good because she's still sitting up and hadn't leaked down. This is all nice, not all wore out. That's really not a bad looking head. Got a little bit of work needed to be done. She's obviously dug into something to cause this, but you loosen them back up and swing them back around. That's no big deal. I might have to look at that online. There's another 330 turbotail there. Ain't nothing but money. And actually, this is something we need to look at. A spreader. Goodbye, equipment I can't afford. It was nice dreaming. Don't forget, we're having that giveaway. Race to 1,000 against PTP Gun. Get free concealed carry training. All you got to do is subscribe. And you get a barbecue hosted by yours truly. And it's a win-win. Food, beer, guns. What could go wrong? Obviously, we'll do it safe. So on the way back from doing our little Hoover's parts run there, I decided to stop by this 5.5 acres that we picked up out here away from the farm. That was the last field that we planted in soybeans. And these are the Plenish 3.2 soybeans, which look great. I mean, they are really getting it. For as late as they were planted, they got good flowers on them. However, the issue we're dealing with is the previous tenant really did nothing for weed control. And we have an evasive weed here on Delmarva that's really, it's spreading like wildfire across the whole country, called Palmer Amaranth. It's extremely hard to kill. I forget what it is, the exact numbers, but let's just say it produces like 100,000 seeds per plant. And those seeds can stay viable for years in the ground before they germinate. So, you know, if you don't have good growing conditions one year, the seed will just lay there until it does. But we sprayed, see, this is, let's see, this looks like, and another thing is we have some plants that are like lookalikes that are called pigweed. But I believe this is a Palmer plant. And one of the telltale signs is you can fold the leaf back on its stem, and the stem is exactly the same length as the leaf itself. And then, I don't know if the camera will pick it up, but there's a little tiny like spear that hangs out the very tip of the plant. And that's two things. And then of course how the stalk feels as well. We sprayed this once with just Roundup before we had any of this Palmer present. And then we went on vacation. I came home and you could see everything that we sprayed with the Roundup that was up and germinated pretty well died, because all the grass and everything that was in here was gone. However, when we got back, we had a lot of Palmer sticking up. So this is the seed heads. As you can see, it's got a ton of them. And I sprayed a cocktail of herbicides, if you will, that these Plenish beans can tolerate. And that was a chemical called Synchrony, which comes in like a granular form and you mix it up and dump it in. AMS, which AMS is kind of like a fertilizer, like a foliar feed fertilizer that really ramps up the plant's metabolism. So it does it to the soybeans, but it also does it to weeds that it's sprayed on. And what that does is it helps the weed draw in more of that herbicide. And then we also sprayed Roundup again. And we got a decent kill out of it. A lot of these are wilting, they're falling over, they're dying. But what concerns me is we still have a lot of them that are not. And this is not something you want to run through your combine, because once it's in your combine, I mean, it just stays there and spreads over all the other fields you go to. So the only other thing we can do really is kind of go through and pull them by hand. Now, I'm not going to go through this and pull the entire field by hand. It's just not economical. You'd be out here for weeks trying to do this. It does take up to 2 weeks in some cases for Palmer to even show signs of being hurt. Now, we've sprayed it, it was less than a week ago that we sprayed it, and you can definitely tell where I double sprayed, because when I first came into the field, you know, I started spraying, went around the field, and then I sprayed a second pass because the booms only had Roundup in them. And I wanted that Synchrony to get into the booms and spray as well. So this got double sprayed, and that's why the beans have that yellow tinge to them right here, is because it had twice the amount of chemical sprayed on them. So yeah, it's going to stunt the beans. There's nothing you can do about that. But I can definitely see that the double dose certainly hurt the Palmer over here. But you can look across the field And all of those plants you see sticking up above the beans, that's palmer. Every bit of it. And it's maybe some pigweed, but by and large, most of it's palmer. And this is the result of mismanagement in fields. Not our mismanagement, we're trying to take care of it. It was the previous tenant, hence why they were relieved of the property, because the landowner was not happy with what he was seeing on his land. It wasn't being taken care of. So we're kind of fighting it, and it costs money. See here, see how that one's wilting and dying? That's what we want to see. But it's crazy how that one's wilting and dying, this one's not. So I'm not sure what to make of it, whether it didn't work, whether I need to come out here again and spray another round of it, and maybe that's the ticket. I'm just scared if we keep doing it too much, we're basically going to sterilize the beans, stunt them so bad that they're not going to produce anything, and all we're doing is wasting time and money. But at the same time, you got to get this stuff taken care of. And it's a sad reality. Some farmers are not taking care of this problem, and that's why we are where we are. And the other thing is, you see a lot of this growing on the roadways, which is aggravating for us farmers. You know, we're spending thousands and thousands of dollars trying to maintain a clean field and take care of the problem, because really, I believe it's the Farm Service Agency or USDA or combination of all can fine a farmer for not trying to take care of these problems. Yet state and government owned land, they just let it grow. They don't do anything with it. They don't spray it. It's just growing along the roadsides, and yet nothing is to be said or done about that. But we need to be held to a higher standard, which again, it's frustrating. But I don't know what to make of this, because we've got some plants that are definitely down for the count, and we got some that don't really look like they're hurt much. Now I will say, like this plant, now obviously you see this one's wilted over, it's dying. This one looks healthier, but the seed head is dying. I mean, there's no viable seed. The seeds are little black guys. They're little black beads almost. And they're obviously, that's not a mature seed head, and it's dying. And that's the most important thing, kill the seed head. But then we've got this, a brand new plant, and these things grow fast. A brand new plant that just came up that likely didn't see any of the chemical on it, and will eventually just keep growing on up through the canopy. I don't know how much we're going to keep throwing at this. I really don't. I mean, you got to stop at some point for your profitability, but at the same time, you can't let this go. This is just mismanagement. It really is. I mean, I'm not going to sugarcoat it. This is an important issue that needs to be addressed. But it's a shame. The beans look really, really good for as late as they were planted. But I don't know how much. I just don't know how much abuse they're going to take if I try to come out here and spray this again. This field is mostly palmer. I mean, that's what's out here is mostly palmer. And you can even see where it's hurting the beans. It's so thick. This might be an abandoned situation. I don't know what to do with it. I might have to abandon this because I don't want to run this through the combine. I really don't. This is pitiful. This is pitiful. I wish I'd have known that this field was this bad off with it before I planted, because I would have rented it and just absolutely scorched earth policy, you know, scorched earth this whole place with something I know would kill it, and just hammer the hell out of it. Not plant anything this year and just plant next year. It would have been probably cheaper in the long run to do it, because now I've got 2 rounds of chemical on it. I've got the cost in the seed in it, fuel, wear and tear on equipment, and I don't know that I'm going to even bother harvesting it, because it doesn't do anybody good to have all that weed seed in the combine, run through the combine, spread back all over the field, because you're just acting like a seeder at that point and spreading the palmer even further out. Oh well, that's disheartening. I got to make some phone calls, see what Jim recommends, see if I can hit it again, or how long I should wait.
Mr. Addis.
Jim, what do you say, man?
How are you, sir?
All right, I'm out here walking through my palmer field. It looks like I killed a good bit of it, but I still got quite a bit that's viable.
No matter what chemistry you use, spraying a plant that's that large you're going to have very little effect on, like, you know, mature seeded out palmer plants.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, there's some of them that are about belly high now.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, that's almost an invincible plant at that point.
I was going to ask, I mean, is it something that I can come back in another week and spray again, or do you think it would just be wasting time and hurting beans at that point?
Wasting time, money, and, you know, like you said, maybe it's going to start having a negative effect on the beans too.
I'll be honest with you, I'm almost scared to harvest this and run it through the combine. I don't know if I should just abandon it and disc it all in at the end of the year and spray something, you know, that'll help combat it for next year's corn crop.
Tell you what we can do, that I think would be your best bet is you can combine the field. You know, obviously save it for last, make it the last place you go, so that you have a good chance to really work your machinery over and clean it as best you can afterwards.
Right.
No matter what goes through it at that point, you put out on the ground, you can moldboard plow it and flip that stuff 8 inches underground and sterilize the seed.
Okay.
So you get one crack at this. You know, it would take 2-3 years to, you know, actually kill that seed by burying it like that. But, you know, for a one-time deal, you could get away with that one time.
All right, and all the running around today, went over to a friend of mine's farm, and he let me borrow his seed wagon because we still have some wheat on the combine that we need to get off. That's going to be used for cover crop seed along with some other types of seed as well. But anyway, that's where we're going to store that. And we are actually getting ready to go see one of Columbus's ships. Annabelle, which ship are we getting ready to go see? Is it the Nina, the Pinto, or the Santa Maria?
Santa Maria.
It's the Santa Maria. Okay, so we're getting ready to go see the Santa Maria. What would you guys think of the 15th century aqua tractor?
You mean the Santa Maria?
It's an aqua tractor.
It's the Santa Maria.
Oh, they used to put plows behind there and do aqua farming.
Not
She's smarter than me. Did you guys enjoy it?
Yes. Actually, it was a little bit smaller. I actually looked at a storybook or something.
So you expected it to be bigger?
A lot bigger.
So when you saw it, did you say, what the ship?
I said, is this one of the smaller ships?
Say, what the ship is this?
You don't make sense.
I've heard that from a lot of women in my time. All right, we're going to finish out the day with our running arounds. So thank you all for watching. Goodbye from Delmarva. Shorebilly Farmer.
Out! Now,
That's what the wife sounds like.
now where we go?
Okay, enough rambling, Katie. I know, just cut it all up and get the highlight reel. My mind is meandering as I look at this mess.